Irvingman, watches shows sitting on his can. Tells a story, tells a joke, monetizes cause he's broke. Look out, here comes the Irvingman.
Ah, how well I remember this story from the comics. I'm getting a little ahead of the story, and I hope it's not a spoiler, but I liked Professor Smythe. He's a complete nutcase who has just enough smarts to build a robot that can detect spider essence, but lacks the smarts to use it strategically. Pair him up with Jonah Jameson, and you have a recipe for goofy comedy from two guys who are trying to be a serious menace to Spider-Man.
My spidey sense is really vibrating. Something is following me. I'd better be ready. What's this?
Something I never understood about Smythe's robot. Why doesn't it have hands? The idea is to capture Spider-Man, not kill him, so what's the purpose of the pokey things? Spider-Man hops up a wall, takes a picture of the thing, then the robot toddles off into the fog and vanishes.
What's so good about this? It's just a picture of a robot.
But, Mr. Jameson, give me a chance to...
What is that?
I would like to see Mr. Jameson, please.
That's the thing in Peter's photo, along with its owner/creator.
I'm Henry Smythe, the inventor. I've read your anti-Spider-Man editorials, and I have something that is guaranteed to capture him.
Just what I need. Another phony. Out!
You're right, Mr. Jameson. No tin can could catch Spider-Man.
The cartoon really downplayed that. In the comic, Peter wanted a crack at this thing, so he kept mocking Smythe and his robot and going on about how this thing couldn't do the job if Spider-Man surrendered to it. The goal was to get Jonah to give it a try, if only for a laugh. He talked about how the paper could expose this phony professor and a bunch of stuff like that, and eventually he convinced Jonah to let Smythe prove what his creation can do.
But, Mr. Jameson, there's the added attraction of having your own face in the robot's head. So it'll be you who goes after Spider-Man.
In this version, that's all it takes, a little jab to his ego. He says, "Let me demonstrate how it can detect a spider." Peter suddenly has to leave, surprise, surprise.
What's that?
That's it. It's picked up Spider-Man's impulses. Now, set it on automatic.
It works! It works!
It walks around making beeping noises, therefore it's obviously detecting and chasing Spider-Man. Sometimes Jonah's a little too gullible, but this time he's right. Peter sees the robot waddling in his direction, so he slips into an alley and changes to Spider-Man. I assume after it's all over he'll find his way back there to collect his clothes, because if he comes home without them, Aunt May is going to have a lot of questions.
Okay, Spider-Man, you've had it.
And you're going to get it. I don't understand. This calls for a double shot. It must have a special surface.
Yeah, it's called Teflon. It's been around since 1938. Nifty stuff, huh?
Dodge all you want, Spider-Man. You can't avoid me forever.
I'd better take to the rooftops for a while.
Going for a little climb, Spider-Man?
This thing is relentless, and it can go anywhere he can go. If he swings to a spot 3 rooftops away, it jumps like the Incredible Hulk and keeps up with him. The big difference is the robot doesn't get tired. Spider-Man does.
The water. Maybe it will throw the robot off my trail.
I have a feeling if it's Teflon coated, it's probably also waterproof.
It worked. Not a thing in sight. Wow. What a day this has been.
Told you. Smythe didn't realize that the Teflon coating also worked on Spider-Man's costume, so he just slipped out of the robot's grasp as easily as his webbing slid off it. Smythe had to go back to the drawing board, but he couldn't sit in his chair right away due to Jonah's shoe print in his backside.
This is the day poets will write ballads about. In fact, The president will probably proclaim it J. Jonah Jameson Day, honoring me for conquering that web-headed menace. It's gone! The picture is gone!
I tripped.
That's all the opening Spider-Man needs. Betty will only be able to do that once, but it was enough. Still, with the plug back in the wall and Betty out of the room, the robot is back on the trail. Soon enough, it catches him again, and there's nobody around to pull the plug. With Spider-Man firmly in the robot's grasp, Smythe and Jonah hop in a car and head to the scene.
Uh-oh, that blank screen means Jameson is on his way. I can't escape through brute strength, but I've still got my brains and the suction power of my fingers. I'd better figure this out before JJ really captures Spider-Man.
He couldn't do that before because the robot was behind him. Here comes Smythe and Jameson, and this is lifted straight from the comic.
Mr. Jameson, what have you done to his head?
I didn't do anything. He hasn't got a head.
How can you improve on a line like that?
Oh, why? Why does everything happen to me?
Yeah, funny how that happens. One of life's little mysteries, I guess.
And as for you, get out of here with that robot before I...
The spider impulse machinery is missing. Oh, well, back to the drawing board.
Smythe is a gadgeteer. He doesn't have any particular beef with Spider-Man. He just happened to build some circuits that detected spiders, and the idea developed from there. At least that's how this Smythe comes across. In the comics, he was so obsessed with Spider-Man that in one encounter, Spider-Man defeated the robot by having it follow him to Smythe's lab. Naturally, the place was filled with wall-to-wall spiders and cages as such, and the robot overloaded and fizzled.
Betty, may I see Mr. Jameson?
Sorry, but Mr. Jameson won't be in this week.
Was something wrong?
Yes, he was stung by a spider.
I have a feeling time constraints are what led to that ending. The ending in the comic was much more entertaining. Jonah kept the Spider-Man costume, but Peter wasn't too worried. He had a spare at home. Except Aunt May found it, and he had to claim it was for some costume party. She didn't want him dressing up as such a dreadful character, so she kept that one. Peter suddenly realized there was only one thing to do. Even though it was the thing he dreaded most in the world, he'd have to sew himself a new one. The last panel shows him trying to thread a needle and thinking, boy, if Flash Thompson could see me now. I'm getting a little ahead of the story, and I'm getting a little ahead of the story. Good grief. Pairing cockapoo. Come on. Why doesn't it have hands? Doesn't. I could take that without a plugged nose. Coding also worked on Spider-Man's costume, so